One of the elements that we have to introduce into our businesses in order to thrive is to focus on creating digital ecosystems. That essentially means that we look beyond the constraints of our organization, our functional teams, or even our industry in order to find new ways of creating these opportunities. And there's probably a couple of facets to that. Firstly, let's look inside the organization. Most organizations will say that they suffer from silo type thinking where there's low levels of collaboration. There's an opportunity to create an ecosystem where we don't go to market as a function, but we focus on understanding what the client needs or the customer needs, and then you draw on the expertise of each functional area in order to create a form of a wrapper with which we go to market. Now, it sounds intuitive that we should all be operating like that, but typically we don't. In this digital environment that we're in order to remain competitive, we need to embrace that digital ecosystem thinking in terms of the services that we take to market. Another area where we can leverage digital ecosystem thinking is when we think about the human resources and the human capital inside an organization. Traditionally, our value proposition, or organization's value proposition, is that we try and attract the best skills into our organization. It is probably silly to think that the smartest individuals are inside a specific organization. And so ecosystem thinking would suggest that we create a platform that allows us to attract the necessary skills required for that point in time, or a combination of skills that are required to solve a specific problem for the organization or the organization's clients. What that does is it broadens the reach of the human resources of that organization without necessarily adding costs or strain onto the income statement of that organization. With that being said, what it also suggests is that it's quite possible that the smartest people in your organization are not only working for your organization. What we find with the younger generations is that inside organizations, they like to be working on multiple projects at the same time. They like that stimulation. And so it's not unreasonable to think that they would be open to work on problems of other organizations outside the existing organizations. There are many platforms in the market that allow for that already. Another more advanced component, probably slightly more mature, is where large organizations are partnering with startups to, again, combine and create products and services that either solve internal problems or help them to create phenomenal products to take to their customers. And that creates a different form of opportunity. So it creates access to market for startups, and it brings that IP into large corporates. It brings that form of agility and that innovative digital thinking into large organizations to the benefit of both the large organization and the startup, as well as to the customer. Another component of digital ecosystems is moving beyond the traditional constraints of the industry limitations. So typically organizations that were in financial services, technology, mobile telephony, etc., operated within those industries. And what we've found is that they are moving beyond those industries. We talk about industry boundaries being blurred. I think that's probably incorrect thinking. I think industries are being redefined altogether. So the future of mobility in terms of transportation of people and things won't just be in the field of logistics. It's going to be in the field of logistics and technology and perhaps some financial services, etc. And so in order to remain competitive with the solutions that we create, we've got to start finding those partnerships to create the right ecosystems that allows us to solve the problem holistically as opposed to just developing point solutions. A point in case is a lot of the technology companies that we know as technology companies are now leading in other industries, education, healthcare, agriculture, etc. That is one of the ecosystem effects that we see effectively, and organizations need to embrace that. It needs a special kind of leadership to say that we need to go beyond our industry to partner to get the required momentum.